As Dutch crime continues, criminal players from past crimes are still connected to the case we're talking about today. One of the most spectacular trials in recent Dutch history, the Mocro Maffia trial, began at the end of January 2015 and was named after the active gangs in the city who had bloodied the streets of Amsterdam since 2012. The weekly crime magazine Revu claims that more than 20 dead had been left on the pavement in less than 10 years. In this video, we're going to talk about the Gomorrah tale in Amsterdam, a multi-ethnic account that weaves together multiple generations, violence, weapons, and rivers of cocaine. Although it seems like we're talking about the Netflix series Gomorrah, this is actually a real-life incident that happened in Amsterdam, all centered with one Gwenette Martha. But before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Weekly crime magazine Revu claims that it all started when Gwenette Martha, arguably the most well-known criminal in the city, came to Amsterdam from Curaçao as a young child with his mother. They settled in the Pipe neighborhood, which was a challenging location at the time, with Giovanni, Martha's older brother. Young Martha was a talented soccer player who caught even Ajax's eye. But while Martha worked out during the day, he and his friends committed minor crimes at night. His soccer career would meet a swift end, but his criminal career was just beginning. Martha's crew of miscreants gradually turned into a real gang. Shortly after Martha turned 18, a dispute with a rival North African gang in 1992 outside the Escape nightclub on Rembrandtplein turned into a Wild West-style shootout that would permanently alter Martha's life. Martha's older brother Giovanni was shot by Momi, a member of the rival gang, and died while in his arms. From that moment on, Martha dealt in robberies and thefts while impatiently looking for an opportunity to revenge himself on his brother's killer. In the meantime, the young Antillian's gang expanded. Najib Bobo, a North African known as de Burgemeester, the mayor, became his right-hand man. Martha's gang used their money to control the cocaine market and the burgeoning ecstasy business, while leaving robberies to addicts and lone wolves. As with many illegal enterprises, the Martha clan grew far too quickly. In 10 years, the Antillano rose to power as the leader of Amsterdam and other racialized criminal organizations, and so they set out to control one of Europe's most lucrative drug marketplaces. But empires have fallen to civil war before, and signs of Martha's downfall were apparent. Even though Martha ultimately ended the search that had haunted him for years in 2003 by killing his brother's murderer, things changed yet again when his dependable Bobo was shot dead in 2012 at Crown Plaza Hotel in Antwerp. The double murder of two young Moroccans in the Staatsliedenbert may have been done in retaliation of his death. At the turn of the millennium, no competitors had reached the same level of prominence as the Martha family, but they were not meant to last. After another 10 years, the King of Amsterdam was still firmly in control of the cocaine market in the city. But there was a new difficulty, a disagreement with Hussein, his other most devoted servant. Another clan had formed from the criminal underground during those years, the criminal organization from Eindhoven, led by Benof A, that grew swiftly and attempted to challenge the king for control of the economy with help from Hussein. Tensions reached a boiling point one May night in 2013. At the Amsterdamse Scheepva Museum, when the treasurer of the Benof clan was shot during the waterfront dance party, a social gathering attended by both famous soccer players and criminal underworld figures. Soraili I, the cousin of Gwenette Martha, calmly approached Suhail Lakir, one of the gangster Benof's associates, and according to a security guard, shot and killed him. Soraili I then holstered his gun and made a stealthy exit. He has now received a sentence of 25 years in jail as of September 2017. Benof's group basically asked for this murder as it was retribution for Bobo's murder. The motive for Bobo's murder was classic mafia. A member of the opposing clan had to extract revenge for Bobo's involvement in a 2012 incident involving 200 kilograms of cocaine worth around 14 million euros that had arrived at the port of Antwerp. The bestseller Mocro Maffia skillfully describes how the mafia conflict in the capital began with this murder. In a significant Dutch investigation by the police and judiciary into a number of relatively recent liquidations in the criminal environment in Amsterdam, Martha is recognized as a key player. One of these incidents was a double homicide that occurred in Staatsliedenbert a year ago, which was accompanied by a great deal of gun violence. And of course, violence begets violence. Early one Friday evening in December 2013, Martha had a meeting on the Amstelveense with a friend. A man suddenly appeared while the two were strolling around the neighborhood, and he pointed a gun at Martha's head. A battle broke out after the rifle jammed, and Martha was struck in the head, but the attacker ran away. At the neighborhood police station, Martha made a report. The publication reported that he was brought to the headquarters that evening for questioning. Martha developed paranoia as a result of this attempted assassination. Afterwards, he hardly ever left the house and only moved around with a bodyguard and while wearing a bulletproof vest. He was aware that he had lost ground, but the birth of his son and his conversion to Islam, which he claimed provided him with spiritual solace, likely helped to lessen his desires for power. But he had dropped his guard. His men, of course, were not happy, and retaliation was soon to follow. In addition to the assassination of Amsterdam criminal Alex Gillis, the attack that led to the mistaken identity murder of Stefan Rigolo Ergemont, and the assassination of Massad Amin Hosseini, who authorities believe served as the gang's goon, all were suspected to have been ordered by the same man, Dennis M., 44-year-old confidant and cousin to Gwenette Martha. Dennis was incarcerated in Spain for an 11-year period for overseeing big cannabis crops. His case was still pending on appeal when he suffered a fatal heart attack while in Spanish prison in 2020. But he did not go before Martha. On a Thursday night in May 2014, while having a kebab with two friends in Amstelveen, Gwenette Martha was executed, according to police. Witnesses said that 3 individuals drove by and shot him between 10 and 15 times. Witnesses said it was very loud and it really went boom, bang, bang, bang. Later in the evening, police discovered a burnt-out BMW matching the escape vehicle's description in Demon. The suspects might have switched to another car at that location, according to the police. Gwenette Martha's body had more than 80 bullet wounds, according to the coroner and as stated in the Het Parool newspaper from Amsterdam. 1 week after the liquidation, more was known about the circumstances surrounding the brutal murder of the top criminal in Amsterdam. Martha did not possess any weapons, and images of the dead culprit would look to be a weapon was actually a pocketbook. Contrary to what has been implied, particularly online, he was not under the monitoring of a team on the night of the murder. In Amsterdam's criminal drug trade, Martha was a well-known figure. The authorities had established a link between him and an execution in Antwerp, and in 2008, after being convicted and imprisoned for forgery, drug trafficking, and abuse, he broke out of prison in Heerhugowaard. But ultimately, he could not escape his own assassination. That's a wrap on the story of Gwenette Martha, also known as the Man Without a Shadow. If you liked this video, subscribe for more like this, and make sure you turn on your notification bell so you won't miss any videos. Thank you for watching.